Hello everyone, it's your boy DometriousTheTitan, and today we're here to talk about Cyberpunk 2077 once more, and I don't even know where to begin with this video. This is the first time I have ever heard of anything like this happening. As we all know, Cyberpunk 2077 has been plagued with many bugs, glitches, errors, you name it, and across all platforms from PC to, I think, less issues, but there are issues there for the next-gen consoles. That's your PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series X's, but there's been significant issues with the previous-gen consoles, that's your PlayStation 4s and your Xbox Ones. One of which was CD Projekt Red apologizing to everyone playing on previous-gen consoles because the issues were just that bad. I am one of the people playing on previous gen. I have been playing on the PlayStation 4, and we will circle around back to that in a few. The other one was them having an emergency meeting where they all got together and they were trying to conjure up a way to win back the trust of the gaming community. Unfortunately, it may be too little too late because Cyberpunk 2077 has been removed from the PlayStation Store. Again, I have never seen that happening. It never happened to Anthem, which also had a very, very poor launch. It never happened to Fallout 76, which people were furious over. That never happened. And it also never happened to Call of Duty Cold War, which is literally bricking the next-gen consoles. So that should give you an idea of how bad these bugs, glitches, and errors are, because it ranges from minor issues to like game breaking, and for me, for example, having to completely stop my game and go load a previous save because glitches are happening that literally will not let me proceed in the game. Sony put out a statement and it reads here: Cyberpunk 2077 refunds. SIE strives to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction. Therefore, we will begin to offer a full refund for gamers who have purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store. SIE will also be removing Cyberpunk 2077 from PlayStation Store until further notice. I don't know what to say, except congratulations. Seriously, good job to the gaming community for standing up and raising their voice, and using CD Projekt Red as an example for other gaming companies like EA, for example, to not treat the gaming community like shit, and to not use us as your testers for your games. We're not your fucking testers. We're consumers. So when I buy things like my computer, my microwave, or my toaster, when I spend, and like video games, if I spend money on it, if I spend $60 on a game, I expect it to fucking work when I buy it. And if it's a shit product, if it doesn't work, if there's too many issues with it, I want my money back. But it's just insane. Sony is notoriously strict as fuck when it comes to giving refunds if they ever do it. And again, it never happened to any of those other titles, but for Sony to not only give people their money back, but to also take the game off the PlayStation store tells you that it was just that bad. We don't really need to get into every single glitch, error, and bug that was inside of Cyberpunk 2077. You've seen it all across the internet. You've seen the videos, the memes. I did a video talking about my first impressions, my experience with Cyberpunk 2077, and it was pretty bad. I gave other examples, but two of the examples that I gave was when walking throughout the world of Cyberpunk 2077, frame rate dips to the point where the game became a fucking slideshow. One of the other issues that I had was I showcased the fact that when you walk around the world of Cyberpunk 2077, texture load-ins is awful. Fucking awful, awful, awful. The game looks terrible. And it takes a while for the textures to render in and the game to start looking good again. But by then, I've already talked to who I needed to talk to or walked through the area, and I take 5 more steps and the game looks like shit all over again. I know my friend, her and her fiance are playing the game on PlayStation 5, and they were actually letting me know that one of the issues they faced was they went to go talk to an NPC who they needed to speak to in order to proceed to the next mission or the next part of the game or what have you. And the NPC just disappeared into thin air and they couldn't proceed. And I have another friend who plays on PC who says she was just telling me how the game is just unplayable for her. It's just broken and she's just done with it. This is just wild. As far as we can tell, CD Projekt Red had nothing to do with this at all. They may be finding out this news the same way we are. It looks like Sony just stepped in and pulled the plug for the game. It just doesn't meet their standards. And quite frankly, it doesn't meet ours either. That's what happens when you put out some shit. The game has been fucking broken from launch, and that leads me into explaining the fact that they clearly manipulated the reviews before this game actually released. Like, what did we see? I did a video talking about the review, all the reviews that were out there. One thing they had in common was the fact that they all talked about bugs, glitches, and errors, but the other thing that they had in common was the fact that they were all on PC. And what it looks like to me is, even though those reviews did explain that there was a significant amount of bugs, glitches, and errors, it looks like CD Projekt Red knew that they knew that it was significantly worse on the previous gen consoles, so they just didn't talk about it, and therefore the reviewers couldn't talk about it because they didn't get that in hand. CD Projekt Red had 8 years to get this game right. So they've been working on this game since like 2012, 2013, and people have been waiting in anticipation. I was excited as well for this game to come out, and so they had all that time. But in addition to that time, they also did like 3, 4, 5 delays, and that's what I talked about in one of my Cyberpunk 2077 videos was, guys, what the fuck were they doing with that time? You did 3, 4, 5 delays or whatever it was, and yes, I understand adding some things to the game in order to get the game just right, to tweak it to where it meets your vision. But at the same time, you had all that time. Those delays I thought were being used to handle the bugs, glitches, and errors and ironing those out before you release it to the public. Again, the gaming community are not testers for the games. Gaming companies need to stop, and I hope CD Projekt Red's situation right now of the game being pulled from Sony's market serves as an example of the fact that the gaming community is fucking done. And the rest of you gaming companies need to understand that we're consumers. We're not your testing people. When we pay money, we expect a working product. And otherwise, we want that money back, as I said earlier. People trusted CD Projekt Red because people looked at them and they marketed themselves out to be like this beacon, an example of what other gaming companies and industries should work towards and be like. The companies seem to have prioritized the quality of their games and respect to the gaming community. And by that I mean it looked like they seriously prioritized open communication and transparency with the gaming community, their consumers. If you want to know my experience with Cyberpunk 2077, I played on the PlayStation 4, and it wasn't good. As you can see in my first impressions video, that video actually wasn't supposed to be a first impressions video. It was actually supposed to be the start of me playing Cyberpunk 2077 as a gaming series on the weekends because I thought it would be a fun thing to do, and it just didn't work out that way because of the bugs, glitches, and errors were taking me out of the immersion. Was just gone constantly. It was very frustrating, and I figured I should talk about the issues that I'm seeing, and I decided to not do a gameplay, and I was going to do the first impressions video and then do a final review after completely finishing the game. But that wound up not happening. I did the first impressions video. I went to play some more of the game, got very annoyed because the further I got into the game, the worse the issues, the worse the bugs, glitches, and errors got, and that pulled me completely out of it. I then decided to stop and hope that CD Projekt Red would put out a patch quickly and cover, all the massive issues that were plaguing this game. Instead, they did put out a patch, but they also talked about like rolling out over time like 3 other patches or something. Like there was another one coming in January, but I'm reviewing the game, or I'm doing gameplay videos of the game, so I need to play it now. But I don't want to. I want to enjoy the game, you know, the way it's meant to be played and not in this blocky fucking disaster that I'm seeing with the texture issues and people disappearing and glitching out, cars flying from the sky, all kinds of just issues. I wanted to enjoy it when the game was actually done, and it just didn't work out. I wasn't having fun anymore, and the more I played, the more errors I got. I kept getting increasingly more frustrated. Eventually, I just put down the controller, never touched the game again. I picked up my Switch. I noticed that Astral Chain was on sale. I picked up Astral Chain, and I've been having a fantastic time with that so far. This is not a sponsor or anything along those lines. It was just, I've been eyeing that game up for a while on the Switch. It was on sale for the first time since I've had the Switch, and I've been playing the shit out of that. It's a shame because CD Projekt Red has had a very good reputation and a very good track record. But it just looks like with the way that they released this game, and their reputation has been tarnished, and I don't know if they're going to be able to rebuild the trust with the gaming community. And you know what? I think they might be able to, but I hope that they take this as a lesson for the future, because Cyberpunk 2077 ain't it, bro. So to the devs that were working on this game, we understand as a gaming community that it was not your fault. We know it's the higher ups. It always is. Hopefully CD Projekt Red has learned from this mistake, and good luck. Good luck gaining back the trust of the gaming community, because you stomped on it. And there is a lesson to be learned here, guys, and that's sometimes we just don't need to follow the hype. Even if that hype is 8 years long. As disappointing as that is, and you know, it's from a gaming company, and this game is from a gaming company that we thought, you know, that it was on lock. The game, there was going to be nothing wrong with it because they would take care, they're going to take care of us. At the end of the day, man, it seems like a lot of these gaming companies are going down the EA route, which I will never understand, because a lot of us in the gaming community don't like EA. So I don't know why a lot of these other big gaming companies decide to take the EA approach to things and be lazy and just try to basically treat the gaming community like shit and just hope we'll eat it. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, guys, sometimes it may just be easier to, regardless of the hype, just wait till the game comes out, watch some YouTube videos, and for the people that did buy it, just see what they say. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.